Hey, kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Friday
Just
vibes.
feel it, baby. Ride these Friday vibes. Actually, this is like the opposite of the mood I'm in today. This is not at all my mood.
You are
Grumpy
testy
Colorado
today.
local.
You are testy.
I would call it feisty. I'm straight up ready to fight. Ready to fight.
Really?
Half the people in my company. Yeah. But yeah, I'm in a testy mood today. What are you
You're
talking
probably ready
about?
to fight me. Let's be honest.
I'm probably ready to fight all of them. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a casual Friday edition of the DNVR show. Yeah, you guys didn't do it, so I did it for you.
Lasers. It's been a long week.
It has freaking day. It's been a long week. But today is going to be a lot of fun. We always do this. Casual Friday is always a good one. And we got some fun stuff for you. Look at Eric. Eric, you joined the show. You didn't show up for prep. You've been here for 30 seconds here. It's D-Line.
Yeah, believe it or not, I've heard this song before, and it triggers me every goddamn time I hear it.
Good. If I'm going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day, too. Everybody's having a bad day. I'm also joined by a man who's incapable of having a bad day in that shirt, watermelon shirt, Brendan Vogt.
It's true. This is my good vibes shirt. I'm feeling it, guys. I got good vibes heading into free agency.
Oh, I like it. The world needs good vibes. I'm sending out too many bad ones. All right, I'm over it. I'm back into good.
There we go.
Today.
Love to see.
And then I got the man in all black here, Harrison Lind.
If anyone gets in that in and out line this weekend, I will physically come down there and remove you from your vehicle. I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to stand for it.
That's right. Get out of here. All these idiots, man. Absolute idiots. That's right. That's what I called you.
Unless you're a subscriber.
That's what we
Thank
love.
you
You
for
made
your
a weird
money.
choice, and we accept weird choices.
Our subscribers would never even think about it.
So, guys, we have some interesting stuff today. A little bit
Hold
later.
on, I don't get an official intro. Just
I gave you one.
It's because I flamed your GD music. Oh,
I
that's
started
fine.
with you.
You didn't
It
use
was
my
about
name.
you not showing up for prep and just showing up
Yeah,
at the opening tip.
You didn't use my name. You just called me you, and you just accused me of things.
There's certain you are just reaping.
I can't
what you
believe. Hold on. I cannot believe your level of outrage for In-N-Out. This is your level of outrage is bringing outrage to me. I am outraged at you with your ridiculous level of outrage. When I'm going to go get in that goddamn line, I'll wait as long as it takes. I'll get a burger. You can come and take me from my car. You can pry my In-N-Out from my cold dead hands.
I hope it's the worst In-N-Out you could possibly ever hear. Like, oh my god, this is terrible. It's not at all like a. Yeah, that's
By the time you get out of that parking lot, that food will be cold in your dead hands.
Listen, I would never get in that line, but the level of outrage that I'm hearing about it makes me want to test those waters.
All right, let's move on from that, though. That's that downer. Because today is the start of free agency. A lot of stuff's going to happen, I hope. Jerami Grant on the docket. I think he's line item number 1 for the Denver Nuggets. So we're going to talk about free agency. We're also going to talk about the brightest timeline, which I'm very excited about. We did a little bit yesterday, but we're going to actually get into it today. What does that look like? And you can start sending us in the group chat. You can what do I say? Oh yeah, you guys can start to in the comments tell us what does the brightest timeline actually look for you guys. What does the team look like under a brightest timeline? But first, we're going to start where we start so often here in Casual Friday. Whoa! By welcoming in Serbian correspondent. Yes, hand over the heart here. Serbian correspondent. Oh, it's a salute. It's a bit of a salute. It's the homie Miroslav, everybody. The homie Miroslav.
Miroslav, I can't believe I'm not wearing my Nuggets Europe shirt. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, what the hell?
I should go grab it.
Miroslav, it's good to see you. So, I know that you are a diehard, you love basketball, you love Serbian basketball, but you're not so much of a diehard that you will stay up late and watch the NBA draft for 5 hours. So, tell me where the line is. It's understandable, but
I feel like that's a die early move. That's what people who you just die early in life if you deprive yourself of sleep watch that.
Honestly, I didn't expect much of these drafts, and I didn't get a lot. in the hindsight. I mean, it could be really good, but for now, it's just theoretical.
Your mic.
We will
there you
see.
go.
Can
Your
you
mic
hear
cut
me?
out there for a second. Yeah, something happened with your mic. But you're okay. I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree. I hate to disagree with Miroslav, but I feel like this was an interesting draft. Like, look, if they took Zeke Nnaji and that was the whole move, I do think, it's not, again, he might be a really good player. I'm just saying it wouldn't have been like
Spicy.
It wouldn't have been spicy. It'd have been like, okay, they got a guy. We'll see if he turns out. But I thought the RJ Hampton, like trading up, getting RJ Hampton, now it just makes the intrigue. The intrigue meter skyrocketed.
Well, just also the fact that a contending team like the Nuggets spent 2 first-round picks on guys in this draft.
Yeah.
That's pretty headline news.
I
2
agree.
first-rounders, that's big time.
So let me go to you, Miroslav. What do you make of it now that you've had a couple days to digest? You still feel like you just don't really care about these guys right now. Maybe you'll care about them later.
Yeah, I will let them make me fall in love with them in the coming months for sure. The thing that's really interesting at this point is that the Nuggets are so young at this point before we potentially get Millsap back or Plumlee or Craig or whatever or Campazzo. So we will see. We will see about that. But right now we have a Western Conference contender that has the oldest guy at 29 and the second oldest at 26. So that's pretty awesome, guys. That's pretty awesome. I don't know when was that happening last time.
There
Probably
always
never.
is like
If
one
ever.
or two vets. And to be fair, I think the guys that the Nuggets, should they bring back, will be older players. I mean, I think there's a good chance that Paul Millsap comes back, and he is obviously a veteran player. Maybe they add 1 or 2 more guys. Even if they just add a guy that's like, hey, we need to bring in Jared Dudley or something. I'm not saying it's him, but somebody like that where it's like, we just need to bring in some adults to come in. Not that Jokic and Murray they're young, but they've been in the league so long, they're basically vets now at this point. So they do have some veterans on the team. But, okay, so the reason we want to have you on, Miroslav, is the Nuggets are rumored to be have mutual interest in, let me say if I'm doing this right, because this is a tough one here in English, Facu Campazzo.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, DNVR is a big company.
Okay.
You have an actual Italian in your team, and you
That's
didn't
true.
That is
consult
true.
Andrea Simone. Oh, sorry. Andrea Simone.
Well, wait,
That's him.
Campazzo's an Argentine, though, right?
Yeah, but his name is Italian.
Right.
It's Facundo Campazzo.
Well, I can't say it with that much gusto.
Let me hear the
He is
music
right.
in
We
it.
should
Facundo Campazzo.
Facundo. Every time.
Facundo Campazzo.
Don't you remember that from
offensive.
Inglourious Bastards? Let me hear the music in it.
It's true. We should have a sound drop of Andre saying his name every time we need to say it. Just hit the button.
All right, so tell me about him. I mean, I know from the notes that you sent me that there is a Serbian Argentinian Campazzo connection here, and it's not necessarily a great one. But just give me you know this guy for a couple different ways. Give me a rundown on him.
Yeah, the reason why I'm so interested, I was so interested in Campazzo in the last couple of years, is this rivalry between Serbia and Argentina. And to be quite honest, this rivalry is only for the last 2 decades, not more than that, because before that, from 1970 to 2002, Yugoslavia was far superior team to Argentina. But
They weren't worth your time or your effort.
yeah, that's right. We had Soviet Union, we had those United States guys, so they were pretty good. But other than that, there were no really great teams besides Yugoslavia back then. But since 2002, since the arrival of Manu Ginobili and Fabrizio Berto and Luis Scola, now the Argentinian team is really good. At least I wouldn't say that the current team is super a dream team, but they have a really great guy in Campazzo, and I will elaborate that later. So from 2002 to 2020, we had like 6-7 meetings between Serbia and Argentina. We had both teams had some really great wins. Serbia won the match in 2002. I already spoke about that World Cup in 2002. That's actually the last Yugoslav gold medal
Right.
in history. We are waiting for the last 18 years for next gold. This is
I
why
love
we are
that
so
Jokic
nervous.
can break 2 very long streaks. I mean, I'm not putting too much weight on his shoulders, but get it done.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is how to say. This is the main thing for us basketball diehards. Just to have these Serbian guys really excel to the point where nobody can stop them on the international team. So Denver Nuggets that occupies 90% of my time, but then there is that 10% every year when the national team plays, and then nothing else matters. So yeah, that's the idea. So the Argentina after that won the Olympic gold in 2004. They won the world gold as well. They had really, really good teams. One guy that was for all those years there was Luis Scola.
I love Scola,
course.
man. I
Yeah,
really like
King.
Scola. He's a very good player, man.
Wonderful player. And last year, when the World Cup was there in 2019, we had Luis Scola at the age of 39 playing against Serbia. And the only real star next to him was Facundo Campazzo. And I was completely sure that Serbia will run them over, because Serbia had a really, really good team with Jokic, with Bogdanovic, with Bjelica, with Boban,
Right.
with many other stars playing in Europe. And Argentina really had those 2 really good guys, one of them being really, really old. The game was pretty even for the first 3 quarters, but then the 4th quarter came and Campazzo just destroyed us completely.
Can we pull up, Kale? You have you want to go ahead and share screen here and pull up. I hate to do this to you, Miroslav, but as you talk, as you kind of describe.
I'm a grown-up.
Kill. Also, if you can get a video of In and Out to play right after this, we can trigger every member
just
of.
trigger everyone here. Yeah, this video is a little too choppy, I think.
We're in slow
Might
motion
not work.
Yeah, we're in
But
slow
it was
motion.
just enough to let our
there
Serbian
we go.
friends relive the memory. So
Yeah, of course it is. Look at
That
this.
pull-up game.
Yeah.
So it was a complete shock that we were stunned by a 5'11"
That
tiny guy
that pass.
and a really, really, really old Luis
Look at this
Scola.
thing. Campazzo has the JJ Barea thing too, where it's not even like he's like. Sometimes the little guys are like super tiny, like Isaiah Thomas, super teeny. Like he's kind of like stocky almost. Like
He
short
is-
arms.
If
and
Jokic
stocky
was
and-
a 5'11" point
so
guard,
true.
it would be Facundo Campazzo.
That's right.
in
Campazzo.
practice, they're just gonna no one's gonna shoot. They're just gonna, in scrimmages, they're just gonna pass to each other 70 consecutive
Man,
times.
I'm such a fan of Luis Scola, man. Big fan. All right, so is there something else we need to know? And also, are you excited about the idea of Campazzo coming to Denver? Like, the big question I have is if he arrives, Denver has all these guards. Let's assume for a second that everybody stays, right? Gary, Barton, Monte, Murray. Those are the 4 that have been in that rotation. Does Campazzo play? Is he backup? Is it awkward? Is there uncomfortableness?
Well, I have a theory based on nothing. So my theory is that
Perfect for the show, by the way.
Campazzo move might be the leverage for the Nuggets to sign Monte Morris on the extension. Like man, if you don't just sign this, we will just bring Campazzo in, and we will have the backup point guard solved like that. And honestly, I think Campazzo is a better player than Monte Morris. Monte Morris is
Wait,
just
what is that on the
spicy.
spice meter? Is
That's
that a
really
spice
spicy.
I wouldn't know.
Listen, guys, he is a top star in Europe. He is almost on the same level like Milos Teodosic was when he came to the NBA, and I would say that Campazzo is a bit more concentrated on the basketball aspect of life, comparing to Milos. Milos is a real wizard. But
Man, are we really? So I'm seeing.
Man, I'm gonna have to stop you right there, Miroslav. Put some freaking respect on Monte Morris's name. One of the better backup point guards in the NBA for the last
I wanna give you
couple
the-
of seasons, man.
Also,
Put
sorry
some
we just yelled
respect
at
on
you,
his name.
but
What's that? I mean, I'm being serious about this. Like, I'm really curious because I saw this in your notes to me, and I was like, okay, but Monte, I feel like Monte's the disrespected Nugget now, right? Like,
Imagine
He
if
is
Monte
so
was
good.
playing in Europe, man. Like Shane Larkin. Correct me if
All
I'm
right,
wrong,
thank you,
Miroslav.
Boyle.
Shane Larkin is regarded as the best point guard in Europe. Correct. Shane Larkin couldn't even. Shane Larkin's like a 13th or 14th man in the NBA.
Man, yeah.
Listen, the thing about Monte is going to get paid.
Yeah, this is true.
He is a lot younger than Campazzo. Campazzo will get the money that he will get now. That will not be too much. And Monte might get much, on the promise of further development. And I don't think the Nuggets can afford that. This is why I think they are pivoting to this side with Campazzo, because he is a proven player. They know what he is. There is no unknowns about him. Yes, he is really small. He is smaller, even smaller than Monte, but he's a really good defender for his size. And you've seen.
It won't matter in the NBA.
That's correct. That could be a real problem. Everybody can shoot over him. He's a really smart player. He's a smart defender. He might get, a bit of leverage on that side. Just being a smart defender, being on the right spot every time. But yeah, I agree. He can be shot over.
But what about the idea of these guys playing together? Because all indications so far point to Denver wanting to pair these two. So that's a very small backup front court. Obviously, maybe there will be some staggering here.
I think you can get away with that with the backups.
So what do they? I agree, Adam. So what is that trade-off in your mind, Miroslav? You're getting a little smaller there, but now you've got two creators, maybe three in Barton. Could this bench generate a little more offense than we've seen in years past?
Well, Campazzo is really good playing off ball as well, so he doesn't mind playing next to another point guard. I would just like that point guard would be bigger than Monte, to be honest. I could see him playing next to PJ Dozier, really, because PJ is really long and he can guard a bigger guard on the opposing team. It's tough. It's tough. It's really tough with those small players, especially in today's NBA. This is not Maxi Box times anymore. So you really need.
But it is Ice Trey's time. They're still like tiny little players that are still able to dominate the NBA.
They will dominate. They were like the fourth worst record in the NBA this year. So,
dude, Trae Young, he dominated. He was scoring 50 points. Like, there's the whole rest of the team that also has to show up. Like, Trae Young was not the problem with the Falcons.
He kind of was. I don't know. Maybe not.
The Falcons.
The Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons. He really
real Friday
with the Hawks. With the Hawks.
Before we get there, because today is free agency, and we are already seeing that. We say this every year, and it doesn't really set in until these things actually happen. But no team comes back the exact same. They always are some differences, and we're starting to see that. Like, I don't think Plumlee's coming back. Torrey Craig, the qualifying offer, don't know about that one. He's coming back. Those guys, I think people can accept. Even maybe a Paul Millsap, which makes me nervous if Denver were to lose him, but maybe Nuggets fans can accept that. But we start talking about Monte Morris, Gary Harris, Will Barton. Like, these are names that it feels weird. Like, if they're gone, it feels meaningfully different. Like, the team is meaningfully different. Yeah. But I do wonder if you get Campazzo, you got Monte, maybe you want to hold on to him, maybe not. You got PJ Dozier, you got Jamal Murray. Are Barton and Harris expendable? And first of all, actually, this is where I wanted to ask you, and I'll ask you this, Eric, since you're you wear the emotion on the sleeve. Monte or Gary Harris? Losing which one would feel weirder to you? Like the Nuggets lost a piece of their soul.
That's tough because I personally have always referred to Gary Harris as Mr. Nugget. That's my nickname I've given him.
Yeah, I like it.
And Monte Morris has professed a very real love for the city of Denver in this offseason, and he's proven himself to really be the glue guy that you want. Like, you want guys that want to be here. And it's funny, this whole offseason, which has been a week and a half, it's been full court press on Monte's position. It's like we keep bringing in these guards. Monte keeps coming up as the conversation piece. Where does he go? It's for some reason it's all falling squarely on him with all of this guard talk. So
Monte and Gary both have got the disrespect over the years, right?
It is terrible.
Gary Harris involved in every trade.
It's terrible. I think it'd feel worse to lose Gary just because he's been here for so long. But man, that's a tough Sophie's choice, baby. I really want to make that decision.
Vote. I'm curious yours, and I want to put this one out there. Has any player embraced this Nuggets culture, team identity, and even city like Monte?
No, really, and that's what makes this tough. And Monte was already tweeting at the new draft picks. He wasted no time getting right back into his.
I think the only one.
That's what he does, man. Like I'm sure he's reached out to them already. I mean, he's just that kind of guy. He's got that sort of mayor of wherever he is feel.
He so does, man.
But Gary is the first plank of wood in this ship that
So
we're
true.
hoping will take us to the promised land for the first time. And if you take that plank out, the ship might sail faster, but I don't think it's the same ship.
Yeah. The other thing, the one thing to consider here is that like the trajectory of quality of play of those two players is sort of going in opposite.
I know. Oh god, there's so many layers.
Like Monte's getting better, and Gary is like sort of on the decline, if not the plateau. So,
Harrison, I'm curious what you think here, man.
Oh man, I mean, Gary is Mr. Nugget, yes, but Monte is. I feel like he's chomping at Gary's heels to take that title. He wants it. He wants to be Mr. Nugget.
He wants to be Mr. Nugget. Oh.
Yeah. Look, the only reason we've talked about Monte so much and him potentially not being here is because Gary's under contract and Monte's up for an extension. And he's up for an extension during an offseason when Denver doesn't have a lot of excess money to throw around. And, backup point guard just isn't something that a typical contender spends a ton of money on. So that's why. And like as Vogt was saying earlier, all the indications I've gotten are that them bringing on Campazzo, it's not a signal that they're definitely trading Monte Morris. It's not that. They still might, like depending on the extension and whatnot, but it's not like an automatic.
I love this comment. He played with Quincy Miller and Jan Vesely's. So true. It goes way back. The reason I brought that up, though, is because I wonder if it does mean Denver's long-term plans, they feel like they can pivot away from Barton, away from Gary, or away from Monte. And you go really small if you get rid of Gary and especially Barton, and you ride with Monte and Campazzo. But, you got PJ Dozier there that adds some length, who maybe makes – you start to just think about what combinations of players kind of makes the most sense. Maybe there. I'll be honest, guys. I've said this for years. I don't like small point guards. I just don't. Monte Morris is like the perfect point guard, and he's one of maybe 3 point guards I like that are under 6'4", 6'5". So bringing the idea that Campazzo can be better, I have a hard time with it, man. I have a really hard time with it. So, but we might see, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong. I just think it might make for a really strange and uncomfortable start to the season this year. Why don't we take a break though, and we come back? Let's start talking about some timeline stuff. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. So, guys, we've had actually several. This is crazy that I'm even saying this in 2020. I never thought I would, but we've had several DNVR listeners switch over to Green Mountain Dental Group over the years and make them their permanent family dentist. Like, I never thought in my lifetime I'd be referring people to a family dentist, but we have been, and you guys have been switching over to Green Mountain Dental Group, and we've gotten great feedback. Everybody loves their experience at Green Mountain Dental Group. They're great people. They're great at what they do. They're a family business, and you guys can pick up a free Sonicare toothbrush from Green Mountain Dental Group when you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam. So hit them up today, just 15 minutes from downtown Denver. A lot of the DNVR fam goes there, so hit them up and make them your family dentist today. And also just want to remind you guys, if you're not a DNVR member, I know we have a lot of people who just pop in on YouTube or Periscope and just listen to the show on here. We have tons and tons of written content behind a paywall on thednvr.com. And this is the time to join up. We've got free agency starting tonight or later today.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, later today. These next couple weeks are going to be wild and lead up to the season. We're going to be covering it around the clock on thednvr.com behind the paywall. So sign up for a membership, sign up for an annual membership, and use the promo code NUGGETS when you do. I believe you get a free t-shirt when you sign up. And it's a whole other side of DNVR. The podcast, the show, it's only part of what we do. So use promo code NUGGETS when you sign up for that annual subscription, thednvr.com.
So we get ready here to head into free agency, and we start to get some of these rumors. I pulled one up just a second ago. Apparently, former Denver Nugget Evan Fournier.
Don't Google him.
Don't Google
the last name.
Trying to find his way to a team like the Clippers, Suns, or Nuggets. A return to Denver. So this one's interesting because when I hear this trade, this idea, I go, I don't know. I don't know if that's the guy Denver needs. I like Fournier, but I'm like, and I'm flattered, but I don't know. What do you think, Miroslav?
Well, he's really long. He's like 6'8", and he's a really, really good shooter. One thing Denver really needs from the two-guard position is defense, and I don't think we get a lot of defense from Evan Fournier. I really like the guy. I really like his how to say French background. But thing is, we really do need more defense on the two guard. I mean, he wouldn't be playing in the second unit for sure. If he would, if he would play for like 8 million, why not? But I don't think that's in the cards.
Somebody Mr. Nuggets.
Also Mr. Nuggets.
Mr. Nuggets just people on the bad teams.
Anybody that played with Quincy Miller has to be called Mr.
I feel like, having watched Quincy Miller and Evan Fournier, I feel like I'm Mr. Nugget. So, but Evan Fournier was another guy that like really, really loved Denver and like really, really wanted to be a part of it. Was like super heartbroken when he was traded, and it like broke my heart. He put on social media, he was like frowning, and he like I know. So I would listen. I want people that want me. This is how I've structured my entire romantic life. I just wait for I wait for women to make it clear to me that they're interested before I, which explains like the
scarcity,
the extreme scarcity, the bedpost that is noticeably unnotched. Could be returned with no receipt, no problem. But that, like when people want me, like I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Like, let's bring in. I want Fournier, I want Monte Morris, anybody who declares a love for Denver. Let Mr. Nugget, all of them, bring them back.
Rudy Fernandez, Senor Nugget.
Let's go.
I'm a little confused by Mr. Fournier's demands here. He picks up his $17 million option, and then he says, yes, I want to go to a contender. Bro, you could have just been a free agent. But you picked up your option. Now you're demanding a trade.
It was kind of a one or the other thing, dude. Contenders aren't probably going to give you $17 million, but...
Somebody, I don't know the if this is true or not, but somebody told me that Will Barton deleted any Nuggets affiliation things from his Instagram. This is the time of year where these types of things happen. So when I see something, I didn't even check that because I just don't care. I hate those types of things. But if you did get a Fournier for Barton, they're different players, maybe.
You need a Fournier,
Fournier can shoot, man.
Are the Nuggets going all in on offense here?
They're going all in on
Campazzo, MPJ.
No, we're going all in on Europe. Let's go, Miroslav. Come on.
Argentina not technically in Europe.
No, we don't care about that. We're not a show of technicality. Everything that's not the U.S. is Europe, as far as we're concerned.
Italian.
All right, so the Toronto
Bay Raptors.
The Toronto Raptors will be going to Tampa Bay.
I was thinking about this. I bet that they're picking Florida because of the tax implications.
Maybe. Well, yeah, maybe.
Truly, like when you work in other states, you are subject to their tax laws, and Florida has some of the friendliest tax laws when it comes to NBA salaries. It's like one of the things they always talk about, like why the income tax, right? Yeah, exactly. And frankly, if you're in Canada, you are subject to the worst. Like the more of your check is taken away when you are in Toronto. So this is sort of like, if we can't do it, like cool, like let's go to Tampa and you can keep more of that cheddar.
One idea I kind of liked,
that Canadian socialism, man.
One idea I kind of like Toronto. If they do have to play in Tampa, their division, their division is Boston, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, New York. Like those guys are nowhere near. That would be really. I like this idea somebody proposed that the Wizards are currently in the Southeast Division for some reason, just because they had to have somebody. If you swapped and put the Tampa Bay Raptors into the Southeast for 1 year and moved Washington up, it actually makes a lot of sense to me. Well, I don't think it'll happen though.
There are so many cooler cities they could have gone to. Like Seattle would have been sweet.
I've never been to Tampa Bay. I can't speak to it. I do know it's a strip club capital of the world.
The sports culture isn't exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Thriving.
No, you don't go there for culture. Like this is geography and tax implications. Seattle is like on the other side of the world as far as the rest of that division is concerned. And just if you're going up and down the eastern seaboard, going from New York to Tampa. I mean, it's not like the same. I mean, you know what it's like to cross time zones. Like that's what screws NBA players up.
That's a good point. It is the time zone. It is the time zone thing. The other piece of news here, though, real quick before we move on.
I know, Adam. You realize everybody's calling you out for bullying us. This drinking game that we came up with is the best thing to ever happen to the rest of us on the show, and the worst thing that ever happened to you.
No way, man. You think I'm embarrassed at my bullying? This is a wolf's den.
You're like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Drink again.
Yeah. In Serbia, Miroslav, do people bully each other? Like friends?
Yeah, especially friends, of course.
Exactly. That's why I only bully the ones I love.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. All
Harrison,
right,
noticeably unbullied.
he's
Does not love him. That was a bullying through not bullying.
He's too beautiful to be bullied.
we talk about, guys, Jerami Grant here tonight. Actually, I should talk about the Bogdanovic thing real quick because I see it in the comments. But, Bogdanovic, our guy, your guy, Miroslav, he reportedly, there was that whole fiasco, if I'll catch you up if you didn't hear, but he was part of a sign-in trade that was agreed upon that may or may not have been tampering, and now the league is pissed about, where he was going to sign and be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, which sounds like a great fit. Good team. He fits on the roster. Turns out he wasn't consulted about this. So he didn't know he was signing a contract and agreeing to a trade. And then now the deal has all fallen apart. Shams Charania today says, we see a little pieces of this coming where it's like, okay, maybe that's not happening. Today, Sham says it fell apart. It's not happening. I love Bogdanovic. We talk about like who to add, Evan Fournier, this and that. I love Bogdanovic. I'm not sure he's what the Nuggets need. I hate that. I think Denver would get 110% out of him because like playing with Jokic would make him the best version of himself. But I still don't know if that's like the right guy. Miroslav, talk to me, man.
Well, if Michael Porter is your third best player, then you don't need Bogdanovic. Yeah. If you have a better defenders on the wings, of course, then you can have Bogdanovic as a flamethrower and a really good playmaker. When you already have three guys that are not plus defenders in Jokic, Murray, and Michael Porter, you really need something really good defense on the two guard position. And Bogdan is really tall. That's really good, but he's not a really plus defender. So I have to agree with that.
All right, that's sad. Everybody's gonna be mad at us for saying this. But
doesn't this feel? But can we just acknowledge the new world in which we live, where when, and maybe it's just us, I don't know, but when free agents, although not just us, Fournier, like when free agents are available, they start to mention Denver as a place they want to come. Like,
Campazzo,
are we the Lakers? What is this?
No. Campazzo, Fournier, and Bogdanovic, maybe. It's just the
like in years past, it's like I wonder if we could trick the corpse of Dwayne Wade to sit on our bench, and we could pay him a lot of money to make us feel prestigious, so that he would even consider us an actual NBA franchise. And now it's an embarrassment of riches over here. Like now it's like when you play fantasy football, and like when I do anyway, you just like scour the waiver wire, and you're like, oh, there's a good player, there's a good player, there's a good player, and then you're like, oh right, I can only have a certain, like you can only play a certain number of players. Like just collecting good players actually doesn't help you, and half of them just sit on the bench.
Right. Yeah.
And I was really happy for Bogdan to go to Milwaukee, because that was a really good position for him, because he is a really a winning player, and a winning culture in Milwaukee, at least in the regular season, is really good for him, because the last 3 seasons in Sacramento is really bad for such a good positive player. I think Nemanja Bjelica's worst problem was that he was playing for Tom Thibodeau for three years, or actually not playing for them, because he always played his starters to the ground.
Playing a lot in practice, probably.
Yeah, that's right. And then he went to Sacramento to win like 25 games every year. That's really bad. So
my question about the Bogdanovic thing, because I don't think he's a realistic option for Denver, is the Drew Holiday trade potentially in peril? Like, can Milwaukee just, or what if Giannis is like, oh, you guys couldn't complete the deal for Bogdanovic? How can I trust you? I don't know about that. Supermax extension anymore. And then Milwaukee's crap, is Giannis going to leave? Do we really want to go through with this trade for Drew Holiday? Because then the Hampton pick is all screwed up and whatnot.
Yeah,
which
double
would be,
implication.
The house of cards is
Drew's back out there, but then RJ Hampton's out.
The NBA would be so screwed if a deal like this happened that had all these ripple effects that were like,
everybody get that Helmo gift ready to go just in
what's
case.
interesting is I think can't the deal be finalized for Hampton? That was a separate deal, so it could theoretically be agreed upon, and then the Drew Holiday one be rescinded, and then
But one of
New Orleans would
the
be
Bucks pick that went.
Yeah, I thought it was originally the
Was
Bucks
from that-
pick that went to New Orleans that went to Denver.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Indeed.
Because
That's
don't you
correct,
remember RJ Hampton's dad throwing the Bucks hat?
Oh, that's right.
From the table.
Yeah. So weird. All right, we got to keep it moving, guys, because I want to get to this brightest timeline thing. But first, Jerami Grant. That's really the biggest domino for the Denver Nuggets today. My question: does he get done? Is he a 4:01 Mountain Time signing today? Meaning, do you think the Nuggets have this thing locked down? And if not, do you start to get a little nervous? If it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, are you starting to sweat a little bit? And be like, what's going on? What do you think, Harrison?
Yeah, I expect this to get done pretty quickly. At least everything I hear, the Nuggets are supremely confident that they're getting Jerami Grant back. And the biggest reason why is because Jerami Grant wants to come back to Denver. So they're signaling that they have a ton of confidence. I would be surprised just, based on what kind of they've been projecting if it doesn't get done really quickly once kind of the period opens.
Get in line, Jeremy. This is the new hot spot. We got Bogdanovic to consider, Evan Fournier. We got the pick of the litter, so I hope that you're ready to give us a friendly deal.
The only reason I can't imagine this is done right away is because one of these teams sent him that $18-20 million offer, and he's considering playing for a lower tier team for that much money. Because otherwise, you'd have to assume that he and Denver have some sort of framework in place here. There is mutual interest. So I really do think that question is going to be, do I take the bag, which is a number Denver just shouldn't match, to be honest,
Right.
or do I go right where I've wanted to go this entire time?
Kale, pull up the graphic you made here because I want to look at now talking about Jeremy, talking about RJ Hampton, and just talking about what the Nuggets' new brightest timeline is, because even just texting around and talking to people, RJ Hampton has a lot of upside, and it's exciting to kind of talk about him now. And as you get into roster construction, I see you made a bunch of Jokic's. Okay, all right,
That's exactly how I would construct my team.
That is the brightest timeline. Is just I'll just
Right as possible.
very deep on Jokic's. Let's start to fill this out. Obviously, Jamal Murray is your starting point guard. I think right now we have, if we just look at it, Gary Harris is the starting shooting guard. I think.
I'd say
Number
that's
3,
accurate.
Michael Porter Jr. Is your starting small forward, I believe. I mean, I can't imagine Actually, I can't
Brightest
imagine.
timeline?
Sadly. This isn't brightest timeline just yet.
Oh,
This is we're just placing some things here. So we have Jerami Grant. Let's pencil him in. He's not in yet, but Jerami Grant, we really hope. Jokic, you can leave that one. You got one right there. And then backup, we got Monte.
Yep, still penciling Monte.
Still penciling Monte. Backup, we hope for the shooting guard spot would be Will Barton. I think is a good fit. You can just hide that backup small forward right now, because that's one of the questions I think for the Nuggets. They have a third string small forward, but not a backup. If you go to the power forward spot, it's kind of the same thing. What do you guys think here? What's the depth chart looking like at the moment? Do we know this backup power forward yet?
Well, we would need to know if Paul Millsap comes back.
Yeah, like with MPJ and Grant just being slotted into the starting role is a little more seismic than I feel like we gave it credence. Like, isn't
When you start to look at it, you're saying?
well, shouldn't Millsap be the starting forward? And Grant, I mean, that's what it was. And
it's
Thrill
another
was,
great
there was a
Jerami
handoff, man. This was the
Thrill
handoff.
was the starting
standing there.
starting 3. I mean, we don't even know. We've not seen functional MPJ and functional Thrill under control of Michael Malone at the same time. Like, Thrill could easily be the number 3.
Actually, I like this comment here because I've been thinking about this, and I haven't heard it too much. Let's put PJ Dozier as the backup 2, and Will Barton as the backup 3. I mean, Will Barton was the starting 3, so we know he can play the 3. PJ Dozier maybe slots into...
I think that's it, man.
The Dozier Monte Morris duo works. It works.
I agree.
Like, on
I
offense, it works. On defense, it works.
Barton as a third part of there is a little weird, but okay. What you were going to say about?
Well, I was just gonna say, are we sure it wouldn't be Campazzo? But I don't know how many liberties we're taking.
Yeah, according to Miroslav here, he's hinting at yes.
I think we should, for the purpose of this, I think we should slot Paul Millsap in somewhere because
he's a backup 4.
I just don't know. Like, I mean, we'll see. I do think he's probably coming back, but I don't know if he's going to be a 401 signing today. I mean,
I would be surprised if he's a 401 signing. I think he might be like a
Monday or
weekend
Tuesday.
Signing. Yeah.
Right, and now this is this Bol? Is this Plum? Is this Vlatko? Is this
if we assume the top 9 that we're looking at right now? Man, does Zeke pass up Bol Bol? Wow. No. Maybe he does. I don't know. If we
Zeke might be more ready to play. I mean,
I love how we're so skeptical of Bol. I don't get it. He's awesome.
Let's slot Bol in there.
Let's slot Bol, and then let's put Zeke behind that, I guess.
Yeah.
Michael Malone's not going to give substantive playing time to a rookie. I feel like he's too old school that way.
I would switch Millsap and Bol, to be honest. Put Bol and Millsap on 5.
Sure. Yeah, I actually can see that quite a bit. Oh, what's going on here? I'm moving it up. What on earth?
We'll do it live. It's fine.
We'll do it live. So then you just go back to the guard spots and you have Campazzo is your third string point guard. Maybe. I mean, we're making an assumption here. Maybe we shouldn't be. And then that Marcus Howard is your fourth string. So you roll really 5 deep with point guards, which is strange because Dozier's really a point guard, but we're playing him at the 2. You run 5 deep there. Are there any other players? Torrey Craig, maybe?
Keita Bates-Diop and Noah Vonleh, the other 2 players on this team.
The third string small forward, so you could fill those in, Kel. Kel, really behind here, man. We're like 5 spots behind right now. What's going on here?
Straight bully.
Maybe 2.
Adam.
Well, as you look at this, man, this is almost a full roster. I mean, we're looking at what, 15 players, I believe. You got Bol Bol on the 2-way, Marcus on the 2-way. Not really a whole lot of roster, not a lot of spots here if we assume Jerami Grant, we assume Paul Millsap.
We still don't even have Vlatko or Noah Vonleh on this graphic. That's a lot of
Vlatko. Crap. Is Vlatko...
And we don't have
RJ Hampton on this graphic.
We don't have RJ Hampton.
Oh my God, RJ Hampton is filled.
That's what I'm saying. We're just like
take off Torrey. He's out. I can't.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're just grabbing every player, and then we have to be like, oh right, like there's only 5 of these guys can be on the court at any given time.
Man, you start to look at this and you think there's really just not a lot of roster spots. I mean,
I do see a big hole. I mean, I do see a big hole in the front court. Doesn't it seem like they're going to need another 4 or 5 here? I mean, if you're rolling into training camp with your top 3 bigs as Jerami Grant, who played the 3 the entire playoffs pretty much, Jokic and Paul Millsap, and then your next big up after that is either Bol or a rookie Zeke Nnaji, and Bol's also going to be a rookie. I feel like there's definite space for a veteran-type big man, no?
So it's the double-edged sword that the Nuggets have placed themselves into that I think is tough. And that is that, yes, you're right, that the Nuggets are in position right now to possibly rely on either Bol Bol or Zeke Nnaji or both. Or you bring in somebody, and then what are we doing with Bol Bol? The second year, he's just not playing. I mean, then he's so buried that he's not even playing at all. So I think it's a real tough decision for Tim Conley this offseason.
Imagine how difficult it would be to actually physically bury Bol Bol. It'd be a lot of digging.
That was really dark.
It's like a lot of digging.
Wow. Kale, can you take off the extra Jokic's? It's kind of confusing to look at with all these extra.
Hey, we've got an HP bomb. Matt Moore, as of now, with the caveat that it's not a done deal, I am expecting Jerami Grant to be back in Denver.
Ooh.
It's not really an announcement, but
it's nice though. It's nice to hear.
He probably wouldn't put himself out there saying that if he didn't feel strongly like it was going to happen. Is what I would say.
Yeah, man. You look at so this is all guys that you assume. I mean, Paul Millsap is the one guy down there. It's listed as dad. He's the one guy that maybe is not back, but outside of that, man. That's a pretty full roster.
Yeah, Plumlee not even mentioned. So we're just
I think he's gone. I think he's probably gone.
We're foregoing our conclusions
so
here.
Campazzo is on there as well, which would mean 5, 10, 15. There's room for 2 more guys.
I mean, we haven't put Campazzo on there, but we can assume it. And actually, we don't, because the fourth string, you can actually add this one in. This one will be there. Is
Marcus Howard. So
He's
really just room for one more guy.
Yeah, there's really, wow. I mean, again, assuming Millsap is back, you're only talking about one more player. That's tough. So this to me means you either go in with like Will Barton and Dozier committed. You're basically committed to playing those guys as backup 2 and 3, or you go into a trade, or you go into a power forward or center. So Denver, I think this free agency actually gets interesting. This might be the team.
And a tough thing, if you're the Nuggets looking to add a free agent to fill this last spot, this is probably not going to be a young up-and-coming guy who's like looking to establish himself in the league. This to me reads as a veteran player who's gotten paid before, who wants to kind of just be on a contender, because whoever this guy is, if it's going to be a front court player, he's probably not getting more than 10 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a very specific type of veteran big, just in my opinion.
Could it just be Noah Vonleh? Like, could they just give him?
It could.
I legitimately think Noah Vonleh has value. I know you guys laugh at me every time.
I mean, it's not. I mean, whether he does or doesn't, he may just be that exact type of dude. It's like, look, you need a person on the end of the bench. He's a body. If he had to play, it's not a disaster.
In some ways, he could almost be perfect, because you're right. You have at least a baseline. Maybe it's not great, but you have a baseline. So if like Bol and Zeke are just a disaster, that allows you a season to be like, okay, he's going to work for 2 months while we figure out what to do here, and
precisely
that could be it. Well, let's take another break. So keep this up, because this will be this is where the Nuggets are now, but now we can start to talk about all these pieces. Maybe we don't see them right now, but what happens? What is the brightest timeline? We'll close out by talking about that here in just a second.
Yeah, Week 10 of football is in the books, guys. It's time to review the tape and get ready for Week 11. There's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. So to add to the excitement of Week 11, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook, head to the App Store now. You don't want to miss this. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users, the chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000.
I need a good week at DraftKings, man. I need a good week. Rough one.
Gotta listen to Andre, man.
I know, I should have. I listened to him at the tailgate, though, and he didn't exactly come through for me.
Clean it up.
Oh.
DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 when signing up using the promo code DNVR. If football isn't for you, always tons of stuff to bet on with DraftKings. They're giving all MMA fans who sign up now the chance to triple their winnings on any bet placed on UFC 255, so check that out as well. Make sure to download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get up to $1,000. It's code DNVR to get a deposit bonus up to $1,000 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus. Deposit bonus requires 25x playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. And also, guys, like, buying a home is a huge deal. I hope I'm going to be buying a house here in Colorado in the next couple of years. I have no idea where to start. I don't know what that process looks like. I don't know, like, the ins and outs of that deal. It's so complicated. But Mike and Virginia Chevalier at Chevalier Mortgage, they've got you covered. They've been in the business forever. They're not only diehard Broncos fans, they're proud CSU alums. They've supported DNVR for a long time as members. They are a husband and wife team with over 15 years of financial services experience. They can save you hundreds a month and thousands of dollars in interest over the life of a loan. Who doesn't want to save money, especially right now? These guys can help you find out if you're able to reduce or even eliminate your current mortgage insurance premiums. So they know everything there is to know about mortgage deals and if you're looking to buy a house. Visit them at DNVRmortgage.com and enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice. When you do, get set up with a free consultation to discuss all of your options at DNVRmortgage.com.
Scott Hayes, I'm laughing because the comments coming in they're cracking me up today.
Yeah, dude. Wouldn't that be amazing if he just was like, Foku! and we were like, what did you say? Like,
I feel like Hastings will definitely put a little.
We didn't
on
get
that name.
Poku, but we got Poku.
Oh, I like it. There it is.
what if
Foku
Foku goes ham on Poku? I mean, that would just be the greatest thing I ever saw.
I don't know what that would look like. A 5'11" guy going ham on a 7.
He'd probably make it up to the base part of his neck, obviously not to the top of it.
All right, so let's pull it back up now. The brightest timeline. Pull it back up here. All right, guys, let's have a little bit of fun. Here's what I like. Vote. We started this idea, this hot boxing and hot takes idea, right? Where we would look at the Nuggets. This was 5 years ago, and we'd say, you know what? I think maybe 4 years ago. I think the Nuggets. I think Jokic is actually a superstar. Like, I remember when Jokic started getting slotted into a top 20 player, because I was there early. I know we were all there early, and finally when people were like, you know what, Jokic is probably a top 20 player, and now top 10 player. Now it's definitive. And what I love is we started saying, what if Jamal hits, guys? Like, what if he actually is this great version of him? Well, guess what? We're 2 for 2, baby.
Whoa.
We're 2 for 2 on the brightest time. We've
Now it's
talked
just
about,
like MPJ.
yeah, exactly.
Give it to me, baby. Can't get enough.
Was that an MPJ?
That was
Nice.
Nice. Well done. So Michael Porter Jr. would be the next in line. We've seen the flashes. I mean, like, it's not great. This isn't us saying, like, what if PJ Dozier becomes, Steve Nash? Like, no, this is Michael Porter. We see it. It's possible, but we can't check that box yet, because we don't know for sure if Michael Porter Jr. is that. We think so. He's definitely part of the brightest timeline, and I actually think, tell me if I'm wrong, Miroslav, I think that Michael Porter Jr. is the only member that you would call, other than Jokic and Murray, that I think moves into a sort of like core, like, okay, that's the three. Do you, when we get past that, we start to get into, I think, Bol Bol and maybe even RJ Hampton, but those guys to me are the definitive 4-5. And I would have a hard time thinking those aren't the 4-5. The top three can go in any kind of order still. There's still like some opportunity there. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, well, if you asked me this a month ago, I would say absolutely not. Because I have to be completely honest, everybody watching Denver from Serbia is really low on Michael Porter comparing to everybody in the US.
Oh, wow.
But this thing changed for me. Yeah, this is just because he's a 22-year-old guy. He has no idea what to do on defense, where to stand.
Right.
He has his teammates pushing him to the position, which is completely, it's not acceptable in Europe at all.
Right.
But after that, we had a really nice chat with Ognjen Stojakovic on our Nuggets Serbia podcast, and we asked him about this, not in particular about the Michael Porter. What we wanted to know is, because we know in Serbia, at the age of 16, you start training really hard into all the basketball fundamentals. It's for the whole Europe, really. And in the US, you get real proper training when the guys go to the college, which is 18-year-old,
Yeah.
And this gap is actually what gives us hope that Michael Porter, not knowing what to do at every point of the game at the age of 22 is not too bad, because he started later comparing to Serbian guys, and also he had 2 years of not playing as well. So basically he put me to rest about this. I'm feeling much more confident about Michael Porter after talking to him, because you can have that window of 4 years of really hard training on everybody, and in Europe it starts earlier than in the US, and that's the only difference for us mentally, for us to accept a 22-year-old guy, because we had Predrag Danilovic playing in the national team at the age of 20. Vlade Divac was playing at the national team at the age of 18, and those guys were almost finished products back then. And it's different in the US, and I'm not saying which type of development is better. It's just different kinds of thinking about it, and I'm guessing the NBA development proved that it's the best in the world. So no worries there anymore.
I mean, it just seems to me, Miroslav, that this is of course so broad, but like generally speaking, there's an approach to sport, like a European approach to sport, that's just more sort of faceless army. The beautiful game, whether that may be in football or basketball, and however that translates across sport to sport. And as you try to talk to Jokic, and whenever he talks about playing the right way, that's kind of what he means, right? Being in the right spot, staying active, moving off ball. And it just feels like it's, generally speaking, it's like, can we become something that's greater than the sum of our parts as a team in an almost different way? It's just a different approach to me. Does that seem accurate to you?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. You say in Europe we are trying to get a very what's the word, cohesive unit. The real team, not the stars. Yeah, teams more than individuals. Yeah. And in the US, I mean in the NBA, not in the US, but in the NBA, you have the star-fueled teams, which of course proves a really good concept in the NBA. But listen, guys. When you go to the FIBA World Cup, when you go to the Olympics, that individual star goes to shatters. You really need all of them. LeBron, you need AD, you need everybody on the U.S. team in order to win a gold medal against real teams.
I know, because there's no such thing as star calls in international basketball. Like, you can't just be James Harden and just be touched and then go to the line, or LeBron James. You can't complain to the international referees and get more and more calls at the end of a game.
So here's the thing, because I think we all agree with you, Miros. I mean, look, it's very easy to see Michael Porter has, I think, natural sort of instincts that are not necessarily team friendly. I mean, he wants to score, and we've all known this, and we all know that the most popular avenue for it not to work out for Michael Porter outside of an injury is he just never gets it. He's a full-on Carmelo Anthony that's like here, and he's so good that you just tolerate it, but you're always like, dude, this dude just never gets it. We get that. I think when we all look, our hope, and maybe we're more hopeful than you guys are, and maybe you're becoming more hopeful after talking to Ogie, but we're hopeful that Michael Porter's going to grow out of this, that he's going to learn. He's had the 2 years off and all this, and that you just get a little bit humbled in the NBA. It sounds like you're just so much less confident that can happen.
Well, honestly, I'm much more confident than I was, as I said a month ago. After all that, what Ogie told us that the natural talent of Michael Porter is completely off the charts.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's just like crazy.
You can't overstate it. Like, he is one of those guys.
See, that's the thing. You really can't overstate it. And that's the thing that gets frustrating almost talking to other people is it's like, no, guys, no, he's not like kind of good. He's not Brandon Ingram. Like, this guy is an unguardable 6'11" super scorer. And that's part of it. But you are right. Your concern is, I mean, we all know that concern. I think we just diminish it a little bit more. And maybe it's cultural. Like, part of this is maybe like the American mind frame where we just assume 19-year-olds are all like selfish and think they're better than they actually are.
Stars brings revenue to the teams, and it's a money driven league. And this is why the stars are always in the first line of every article. But when you have the team, like when you have the Spurs that won 5 titles, that wasn't a star-driven team. They had the very low-key star in Tim Duncan, and all the other guys were just playing the right way. So I think Denver's better chance of winning a title is playing the right way than playing with a bunch of let's get James Harden and try to win.
Well, sure, James Harden is an extreme here. I think Michael Porter can. I still think he can be saved, brought into the Nuggets culture fully. I think the same with Bol Bol, and I think RJ Hampton. We still have to get to know this guy or whatever. But that's part of what's. I put this in our article today up on the DNVR.com. This is the picture I'm painting for myself. The Murray Jokic 2-man game is just great. You throw. I put Grant in this, but let's just go. Let's have some fun here. You put Bol on that strong side quarter as a floor spacer. You put Michael Porter on the weak side quarter as a floor spacer, and you run a pick and roll on the right side with Murray and Jokic. Murray turns the corner. He's got all this paint. He can attack and get a wide open layup. Or defense rotates over. You pass it back to Jokic. He's in the paint for the little floater. It's a bucket. Or defense rotates over, and if you just think about the backside of. What I always talk about with the Nuggets is that first action is so great. It's Murray and Jokic, and it's just unguardable, right? You have to react to it. If you go into the weak side now, is Michael Porter in one corner and RJ Hampton on the wing. RJ Hampton might be the single best prospect and very quickly can become the single best player in the NBA at that hard back cut because he's so fast. You know, when you turn the ball, this is usually Gary Harris. When you turn and he looks like he takes one step like he's going to get the handoff and then quick backdoor. RJ Hampton is so fast at this. Like this is how he gets half of his buckets. Or he catches the ball if you do sag off of him because he's not the best shooter just yet. If you sag off of him and then trail that screen, he's so fast at catching that ball in the handoff and going full speed towards the paint. It's just that's his skill set, and I love it because it fits so perfectly. You get a breakdown with the Jokic Murray pick and roll. You get spacing with Bol Bol and Michael Porter. And as you go to that secondary action where he becomes a secondary ball handler, a secondary guard, if he hands it off, I think he's a really good passer. I mean, this is one of his skill sets. A lot of times you get these fast guards and they're like, you think they're selfish. He's got like some Westbrook in him where he actually reads the court really well on the pick and roll. So if he's a secondary ball handler, it works great. But if you just have to collapse on that speed and then you have the Michael Porter handoff, to me, I look at it and I go, these skill sets kind of match if RJ Hampton can become a better shooter, Bol Bol can be a defender. Right now he's just not a defender. Can he be? I don't know. But if he can be, perfect. It's actually a perfect starting five that you have with these guys. And I'm looking at everybody's facial expressions right now, and I'm sitting here telling you that the brightest timeline is like actually brighter. The one spot we didn't have was the shooting guard spot when we talked about a brightest timeline. I think RJ Hampton, while I think his ceiling is lower than all those other four guys, it actually what he is good at is actually perfect for what the Denver Nuggets are good at. I really expected way more enthusiasm out of this conversation. Like I just don't know what to do here.
Adam, you're on absolute fire today. It's yes, I think that's obviously what the front office saw. We were allowing your speech, your soliloquy. Are you supposed to jump in? We don't know when you're done. Yes, it's
great.
Really
long, yeah.
I was like you suck the wind out of the stream and then get mad that we can't breathe.
I wrote this in the roundtable on RJ Hampton today. Before we even talk about the fit and all of that, this is a premier athlete, which is something that they still lack. And we're all so deep in the weeds of like armchair GMing. Can they pick up Killian Tilly undrafted? Like all that kind of stuff. Right. Sometimes you got to pull yourself back and enjoy the show. RJ Hampton is a showstopper. So Just even at the baseline of this, it's very, very fun, and I love that development for that reason alone.
Yo, as soon as fans are able to get back into the ball arena, the ball as I like to call it,
the ball,
having a dude that can just yam it on, in the face of a defender, like just energizes the crowd, energizes the team. It's an intangible thing. It's like demoralizing to the other squad. Like that means something. I'm
RJ Hampton layup lines are going to be
holy snakes.
It's good. I'm just telling you guys, the pieces are there. I'm not saying it's going to work. In fact, every time you add another it gets worse and less likely.
Don't walk it back. It's going to work, baby.
No, I'm just saying we're 2 for 2 so far. There's a 5-step process to the brightest timeline. We are 2 steps in. Nailed them. Bullseyes.
Let's go.
Bullseyes. You hit the bullseye 3 more times here, guys. I'm just telling you, it's like the greatest team.
Be like, like Robin Hood just splitting arrows with the arrows that follow.
I saw this one. I didn't want to bring it up because I wanted to send people in a happy timeline. We always have fun talking about fun prospects, and then we get in.
Did that really just happen? Is that
only seen
conjecture?
A rumor. I don't think it actually has happened, but that was the latest report here. So
what's wrong with your countrymen?
Bogdanovic turning down the Bucks because he wants to come to Denver. Oh no, he wants the Lakers. All right.
Well, the whole time I was thinking about wouldn't Bogdan love to go to the Bucks? Like, why he can go from Sacramento, the purgatory of the NBA, to a title contender, but no, he always had the Lakers in his back pocket, apparently.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't go to In-N-Out. We'll see you later.
Go to In-N-Out.
Don't go to In-N-Out. Don't go to In-N-Out.
See you.